The altcoin market in crypto is exploding right now, and with this, we're seeing increased trading volume, record high prices, and more adoption that's happening every single day. Now today I want to talk about what altcoins are exploding, why they're moving so drastically to the upside, and which altcoins could be next. So that interests you and you want to stay up to date on everything that's happening in crypto, whether it's the charts and the prices or also the news that we're going to be going over today. Stick around for the channel, and all that I ask is that you consider hitting the like and subscribe button if you like the content that I make. So without further ado here, let's take a look at a few of the altcoins that have seen these drastic gains of anywhere from 50 to 300% over the course of the last 2 to 3 weeks here. Now the first thing that comes to my mind is Comp and Bitcoin Cash. Now, regardless of whether you like these cryptos and whether you love altcoins, hate altcoins, Comp's up about 204% over the last 3 weeks. And Bitcoin Cash is even a stronger performer because over the last couple of weeks here, Bitcoin Cash is up around 230%. Again, in a matter of just under 3 weeks. Now, we can also take a look at Aave, Litecoin, Solana. The list goes on. There's a number of altcoins that are just exploding right now. MakerDAO is another great example. Now, why is this happening to these select altcoins? Well, a lot of these are DeFi protocols that have been suppressed throughout this bear market. But I think the bigger theme here is that these altcoins that are exploding are the ones that were targeted the most heavily during the last bear market, or during the one that we're kind of exiting out of now. So if you go and you look at Bitcoin Cash, heavily suppressed. You go and you look at MakerDAO, Comp, Aave. These are all projects that were beaten down really hard in the bear market. Solana is another great example. And now they're all starting to see a bit of short squeezes. And with this, they're having these large, drastic moves to the upside of around 50 to 200%, depending on how big the crypto was and how much they were suppressed throughout this bear market. But they're starting to explode. So that kind of begs the question, what altcoins could be next? Now, one thing I will say is that a lot of the altcoins that are still kind of hanging low are the ones that were mentioned by the SEC. You go, you take a look at Cardano, you go and you take a look at Atom. These are the ones that aren't seeing near as drastic of a bounces because those are the ones that are under investigation by the SEC. Mana is another great example. We also have, pretty much the list goes on. Filecoin was one. These are the cryptos that aren't seeing nearly as drastic gains. So the way that I'm looking at this, the strategy that I'm looking at this is which coins aren't being targeted by the SEC, what coins haven't had their short squeeze yet, and what coins are fundamentally valuable and actually can survive into the next bull market. Because it's simply not enough to look at all these cryptos and say, oh, which ones have fallen the most? No, it needs to have fundamental value. They need to have done a good job in the bear market where they're active and they're constantly communicating and improving. If they're not doing that and keeping and growing partnerships, then it's not a project that I want to look at for any kind of a squeeze to the upside. Now, obviously, not every project I mentioned. I'm not a big fan of Bitcoin Cash. There will be short squeezes in other projects. But the key thing to look out for here is which projects have been beaten down and suppressed, but are still very fundamentally viable. Those are the projects to look out for. Now, again, some of these cryptos have already made their move. Others are getting ready to make their move. So we need to go in here, not chase the cryptos that have already gone on these crazy runs, like Bitcoin Cash, for an example, or maybe even Compound. Again, I like Compound. I don't like Bitcoin Cash, but they both just went on these wild runs and they made their move. So instead of trying to chase them, I'm going to look for what the next Bitcoin Cash is, what the next Compound is, and I use TradingView to do that. So I can cycle through TradingView. I can also cycle through CoinMarketCap, look what coins over the past 24 hours, 7 days, or even 30 days have been the highest and lowest performing to kind of give me an indication of maybe what charts are up, what cryptos are up, what cryptos are down, and it can kind of help me go from there. Now, if I see a crypto that is maybe down or at a valuable point where it's near support and it is fundamentally viable, then that's when I'm going to go look at the chart and say, hey, does this thing have the potential to pull a Compound, to pull a Bitcoin Cash? And there's a number of cryptos out there that, again, I think are priming for their moves to the upside. Whether that's going to be market reversing or not, sometimes we just see short squeezes in a bear market, and this is the kind of thing that happens. Now, let's dive into the crypto news here. In the crypto world, Bitcoin was also another thing that hit its 13-month high. Now, a lot of this is happening as Bitcoin dominance saw a big rally, but over the past week or so, it fell from just over 52% back down below 51%. And this is where a lot of the altcoins kind of went crazy. As Bitcoin dominance was falling, money, instead of going from altcoins into Bitcoin, was going from Bitcoin into altcoin. So it was, it really flipped to the vice versa there. But regardless of this, now we have altcoins shooting off to 2023 highs and Bitcoin that just touched its 2023 high as well. Now, this comes in light of Valkyrie refiling for their spot Bitcoin ETF. There's a number of other people like BlackRock and Invesco and others that are all doing this as well. I think Fidelity was another one. You had the what was it, the HSBC, I think it's called in China, one of their largest banks that's filing for one. So you pretty much just have people from all angles trying to get in here. And in light of all this happening, we're also seeing centralized crypto trading volume hitting $2.2 trillion in June alone. Now, this comes in light of everything that we talked about, all the big news that's happening. And this was one of the better months for trading volume. This is, I believe, like one of the top trading volume months that we've had in the last 3 or so months. And that's a good thing for traders. Traders are liking the little bit of extra volume and liquidity that brings. So there's a lot of big names. I mean, even Larry Fink is kind of getting in on the action here and really paying his dues and sharing his opinion about what could happen to the crypto market here. So again, regardless of whether you love it or you hate it, technicals are going great. Fundamentals are going great. There's a little bit of drama with the SEC, but it doesn't seem like any of these big names really care about what the SEC is doing. Again, you have BlackRock, Invesco, Fidelity, Valkyrie, all these big names. They don't care what the SEC is doing. They're looking at this and clearly they're not worried, and that's why I'm not either. Again, if they're choosing now to get in, if they think everything's fine, if they're not worried about crypto going anywhere, they probably have a better reason to believe it than just like the average person like me or you, if that makes sense. Like, they have trillions of dollars of assets under management. So if their advisors are saying, hey, no, like now's the good time to get in, now you have the green light, then I'm really not sweating much. And I get a lot of messages like that, like, hey, Brennan, I saw what happened with the SEC, should I sell everything off? And, I can't give financial advice, but I like to look at what's happening with the big money, the smart money. And if they're not nervous about what's happening, and, even, again, I've looked at it, doesn't make me nervous, but if they're not nervous, it just gives me a bit more validation of, hey, this is probably just FUD, similar to what we've seen before, and it doesn't look like it's anything to be too worried about over here. So with that being said, as we head into the weekend over here, it's very possible that we see Bitcoin pull back in price. Again, it's at that 2023 high. It wouldn't be unreasonable to say that it needs to pull back here, come back down a little bit further and regain some strength. It would not be a bearish thing for Bitcoin to retrace a little bit before rallying back to the upside. So if you see a little bit of retrace in the price action of Bitcoin, don't freak out. Probably going to be a very natural thing, and I don't think there's too much to worry about. But overall, I am staying very optimistic, very bullish about the, I would say even like the mid to long term of crypto. Not really a worry at all. So that's where I stand, everyone. Again, I hope all of you did enjoy this video. If you did, consider hitting that like and subscribe button if you want to stay up to date on everything that's crypto related moving forward. There's always stuff happening. There's always stuff that we're covering here on the channel. So if you like the style that we got, consider sticking around. But that's going to wrap us up. Once again, thank all of you for watching, and I'll see all of you in next week's videos.